Hey everyone, today I'm answering the number one question I get in my comments. Does ablation actually work long term? And that's a tough question to answer directly because everyone's journey with AFib is different. We all have unique challenges and we all respond to treatment in our own ways. But what I can do is share my story. It's been over 4 years since my atrial fibrillation ablation, and I'm going to walk you through my complete, honest experience. If you're new here or you're dealing with AFib yourself, this video is specifically for you. I'll cover everything from how I feel now to the mental health side of AFib that nobody talks about. I'll even address those comments that say ablation doesn't work. This is my story, and I hope it gives you some real hope. The short answer is I feel really good, but if you've ever lived with AFib, you know that's not the whole story. Before the ablation, I was obsessed with my heart. Every flutter, every skipped beat, every little sensation would trigger a new wave of panic. I was constantly on edge, wondering, is today the day I will have an AFib episode? Now that fear is gone. It doesn't even cross my mind most days. I still care deeply about my heart health, but it comes from a place of strength and commitment, not fear and anxiety. So here's my personal answer to the question you've been waiting for. I haven't had a single episode of AFib since my ablation on February 11th, 2021. That's over 4 years and counting. Every single EKG I've taken, whether on my Apple Watch, a doctor visit, or during routine checkups, has shown normal sinus rhythm. The ablation worked for me and it stayed working. And don't get me wrong, I know AFib could potentially return one day, and my doctor and I have talked about that, but so far I've been completely AFib free. Let's go back in time for a moment. I'm sharing this because I wish I had known it sooner. My AFib didn't start with dramatic episodes. It began with small, hard-to-notice signs. For me, that meant a pounding in my chest after climbing stairs, weird fluttering sensations I kept brushing off as stress, and unexplained fatigue. I spent months writing these symptoms off, thinking I just needed to manage stress better or get more sleep. Don't make my mistake. If any of this sounds familiar, don't ignore it. Start documenting your symptoms, when they happened, what you were doing, and how long they lasted. That information is gold for your doctor, and early interventions can make a big difference. Once I was officially diagnosed and the ablation procedure was complete, the real work began, rebuilding my trust in my body. One of the biggest milestones for me was returning to exercise. Today, I'm happy to say I'm back to my normal activity level in about as good of shape as I was in before my AFib started. I can do 45-minute strength training sessions, go on long hikes, and keep up with my son playing soccer or swimming without a second thought. But I didn't get here overnight. It was a gradual journey. I started walking the very next day after my ablation, just light movements to get my body going. Over the next few weeks, I added more as I felt stronger. By about a month or two after the procedure, once my heart had fully healed, my doctor cleared me for full unrestricted exercise. Honestly, the bigger challenge wasn't physical, it was mental. I had to retrain my brain to trust my heart again. This brings me to the mental side of AFib, which doesn't get talked about enough. The unpredictability, the constant fear of when will it happen again. It's exhausting. Before my diagnosis, I wrote off episodes as panic attacks. I remember constantly checking my pulse, keeping my phone next to me in case I needed to call 911, and avoiding activities I loved out of fear. If this sounds like you, you're not alone. The ablation reset not just my heart rhythm, but my mental rhythm too. I finally got my peace of mind back. You're not weak for being scared of AFib, but you also don't have to let that fear run your life. AFib also taught me habits that stuck. I now prioritize 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night, maintaining a healthy body weight. I quit drinking all alcohol and am much more mindful about consuming caffeine and other things known to trigger AFib. I attempt to actively manage stress, although it's a work in progress. I stay hydrated, I exercise regularly, not just for AFib prevention, but for my overall health. Over the years, I've been asked a lot of the same questions about my AFib experience, so let's tackle the most common ones right now. Number 1, am I still on AFib medications? And the answer is no. My doctor made that decision after seeing consistent normal rhythm and determining my stroke risk was low. That decision was made based off my age, my health, and my personal circumstances, and it's definitely something you'll want to ask your doctor about. Number 2, how long until I could exercise again? Well, I started walking the very next day after ablation, slowly at first and built up over the next few weeks. By about a month after the procedure, my doctor told me I could exercise any way I wanted. I didn't actually believe that. I even double checked. I asked him, swimming? Yes. Running? Yes. Even CrossFit? Yes. He said, you have no restrictions at all. What is a cardioversion and why didn't I have one? Cardioversion is electrical shock to reset your rhythm. I never needed it because my episodes always stopped on their own as I had paroxysmal AFib. Would I have an ablation again if AFib comes back? And the answer is yes, without a doubt. It worked for me before and gave me years of life completely AFib free. I also have full confidence that if I needed another one, the results could be just as good or even better. My doctor has told me they're improving AFib treatment treatment techniques every single year, which makes me even more confident in that decision. Now, for those of you who've heard that ablation doesn't work or that AFib will always come back, as you often tell me in the comments, here's what my doctor actually said to me. You may never have to deal with AFib again. Although there are no guarantees, but if it does return, I know there are better tools now than when I had mine in 2021. One example is pulsed field ablation, which is now widely available and showing great results. I'm not living in fear of recurrence. I'm living prepared and optimistic. So if you've just been diagnosed, take a deep breath. AFib is scary when it's new, but it's very treatable. You have time to learn and make decisions. Become your own advocate. See an electrophysiologist, not just a general cardiologist. Document everything. It's your most valuable tool. This is my story and not medical advice, so always consult your doctor about your specific situation. Let me know in the comments if you've had an ablation or if you're considering one. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not sure what to watch next, check out another of my videos right here. Stay strong, stay informed, and remember, there's always hope. Take care.